Hi, I'm Joanne Humber from LTC4, and today I'm talking to Chelsea Dohemann, who is a technology trainer, firm-wide technology trainer. So she's got a job with a very large international firm, and she's a keen user of the LTC4 core competencies. So we're going to talk generally about the role of the trainer. What do you think one of the most important things is as far as getting your message across to the firm?
Yeah, I mean, that is a challenge of every trainer that has ever existed, I think. And and because we don't necessarily have a position of authority, we have to influence through other mechanisms. And what I've found to be the most effective is connecting with the people and building trust. That's really what it's about. Leveling with people where they're at in their moments of frustration. Because we work with users in this moment of vulnerability that I don't think anybody else ever really gets insight into. I mean, people come to us and say, I'm having a challenge with my technology. Don't tell anybody,
Yes.
but I don't know how to do this.
Yeah, they
Right.
don't
And
want to
so,
admit it.
yeah, yeah. So we have this opportunity to build a significant amount of trust right there. And that exchange will lead
Yeah,
to a better service that we can provide to other users, to them certainly, to the firm in general, and they of course get a much better result out of the time that we spend with them. So it's
sure.
all about building trust. Yeah, yeah.
So you chose to go with the LTC4 core competency framework. You've picked
Hmm.
two initial learning plans. The
Hmm.
working with legal documents, which is obviously crucial, and the collaborating with others core competency. What made you
Yeah.
decide to go with an LTC4 program?
Well, so two reasons. One of them is simply the value of having a well-reputed certification program as evidence. So we have people throughout our organization that are noticing skill gaps. And so they want to feel confident that we are addressing these skill gaps,
Yeah.
right? And so having a certification program that can say by the end of it, this is what we have to show for it. And we do knowledge checks too. We don't necessarily refer to them as assessments, because that can be a little bit intimidating, but they're knowledge checks and they have to do them,
Can't
right?
call it a
So,
test, can you? Oh, no.
right, I know,
No.
right. Um, so, so that helps the that helps everybody who's wanting to feel confident that these skills are transferred. Feel confident that this is transferred, right? They have a certification to show for it, and I think
Sure.
it's motivating for the learners too, right? We all want to grow and stretch and have that little mark on our resume, on our LinkedIn, and so it's certification programs in general, but LTC4 specifically. One of the reasons that the main reason why we were all in here was the community that
Yeah.
exists here.
Yeah.
And it is a global operation, and there are firms of all sizes, firms of all operations, and so that makes me confident that
Yeah.
I'm getting information that I wouldn't get internally. I wouldn't even get from my friends who work a couple states over in the United States.
No, no, that's
I'm
true.
getting information that is across the board, and
Yes,
that
and you're
is
an international firm, of course.
yeah, yeah, right, right, yeah.
So how do you cope with the assessment side of the learning plans? Trying to get them to obviously to make sure that that knowledge has been transferred and the behavior has changed and they have become competent.
Yes. Yes. So there are two major challenges in this area. First is actually getting authorization to have knowledge checks, right?
Mm,
And the primary way that I have been successful so far, and my team has been successful so far, is gaining championship and advocacy
okay.
of knowledge assessments from the beginning.
Yeah.
So before we even design them, we go to the direct managers usually first and work it out with them. And we make sure that as we're discussing how we might do this, that they are an active participant. They're telling us how they want it to work,
Yeah.
and that gets their partnership immediately. And then we just continue to communicate up through the whole reporting line and get everybody's buy-in on that. Yeah.
And of course, the great challenge now is training people to use AI.
Yes. Yes.
How's that going?
So training to use AI, there are so many challenges here, and it's a brand new area. So, of course, there's going to be challenges that we don't know about. But of course, the biggest one that all of us know about is the intimidation factor, right? People are
Mm.
afraid that it's going to replace their jobs. And different organizations don't really know whether they want to step into those waters right now. It does seem like a big risk. What happens if we run something through AI and we make a decision and that and we get in big trouble, right? So it is a scary area. That being said, I recall when Wikipedia came out and everybody was like, kids aren't going to have to research anything anymore. They're
Yeah.
just going to go to Wikipedia. And I remember when Google became very popular, and I remember people saying, nobody's going to have to remember anything anymore.
Yeah.
Dictionaries are going to
Yeah.
disappear.
Yeah.
And in the end, what happened is we all adapted.
Of course we do. Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen here too. But it's scary during this period because we don't know what it's going to look like. But the thing that I think I focus on and I recommend other people explore and be curious about as well is not necessarily what is scary about this in the way that I work right now, in the way that I make my programs, in the way that I operate, whether it's a trainer or anybody else. But but look at this as what could I do going forward? What could I do that would be cool? What could
Mm.
I do that can make the work that I do even better?
Even
Because
better.
we're going to land in that place afterwards.
Yeah.
Eventually, we're going to get there. Everybody's going to get there. It's just a matter of how long it takes you to get there. So
Mm.
if you're looking at it now with curiosity, you're going to get there faster. It's going to be a much more rewarding experience, you know?
Yeah.
Just my 2 cents on it.
Terrific. So, well, as you may have heard, LTC4 are about to launch their AI core competency, working with AI,
Yes.
which should
Yes.
be a good additional tool for you when it comes to assessing competence. So we'll look
Yes.
forward to that. Anyway, well, thanks so much for your
I can't
time,
wait for that.
Chelsea. Good to
Thank you
talk.
so much. Good to talk to you too. Thank you so much.
Bye.